There's this brutal truth about investing. All the life-changing, mind-blowing growth, it all happens at the very end of the journey. But here's the problem. Most of us quit right at the beginning, because for years, and I mean years, it feels like absolutely nothing is happening. So, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on those quiet, frustrating, and honestly the most critical years of all.
So what's this number? 87%. Well, it's kind of shocking, really. If you're in this for the long haul, a staggering 87% of your total investment growth, it happens in just the last few years of your entire journey.
And that right there, that's the trap. Because all the magic is so heavily backloaded, the first 5, maybe even 10 years can feel totally pointless. You look at your account and the chart's just flat. So you start, you see 0 results, and you quietly convince yourself that this whole compounding thing is, a myth for other people. So that's really the big question we're tackling here. If we know the magic is waiting for us at the end, why is the beginning so incredibly hard to survive? We're going to answer that, but not with a bunch of theory. We're going to do it with a story. So let's meet our hero, Harry. Now, Harry is not some Wall Street wizard or a tech millionaire. Honestly, he's probably someone you know. He works in a loud, chaotic customer support center, and his financial life is, well, it's tight. The very idea of investing feels like a dream for somebody else. Let's just look at Harry's reality here. After taxes, rent, and just getting around and feeding himself, his paycheck is pretty much gone. He's left with maybe $50, $60 at the end of the month. So he doesn't have a pile of cash to play with, and he isn't about to get some huge promotion. For someone like Harry, where do you even start? It feels impossible. But then something shifts. And it's not his income, it's his mindset. He starts listening to audiobooks like The Psychology of Money on his bus ride to work, and this one idea just clicks deep in his brain. He has this realization. The beginning isn't about getting rich. It's just about surviving. It's about staying in the game long enough for the math to finally wake up and do its thing. So, with this new mindset, Harry decides to try something. It's a step so small, it's almost laughable, really. It's not about finding the perfect stock or trying to time the market. No, it's just about finding a number, any number, that he could commit to without that feeling of panic rising in his chest. And that number? It's $37. That's it, $37. He opens a basic investing account, picks a super simple index fund, and sets up an automatic transfer for $37 every single month. This tiny, kind of random amount, it's the seed for everything that comes next.
And now comes the part that almost no one ever talks about. This is the road of trials. This is the emotionally confusing, totally unrewarding slog where, let's be honest, most new investors just get lost and give up.
Okay, so in the first month, he's checking his account constantly, like 10 times a day. And it's just his $37 wiggling up or down by a few cents. It feels completely useless. By month 3, he's put in over $100 of his hard-earned money, but his balance just kind of dances around that number. He feels like he's going absolutely nowhere. This is what we call the first hidden stage, the boredom stage. The math of compounding, it's working from day 1, but the numbers are so tiny you just can't see it or feel it. It's pure boredom, and this is where most people quit. But Harry, he makes a crucial decision. He starts treating that $37 not as an investment, but as a bill. A non-negotiable bill, just like his rent. It just has to be paid.
Then, of course, around month 7, life happens. It throws him a curveball, a real test. His old car breaks down, and the repair bill is almost $500. This is that moment of truth for every new investor.
The old Harry, he would have panicked. He would have immediately pulled that money from his investment account, and the experiment would have been over right there. But this is new Harry. He takes a deep breath, he picks up a couple of extra shifts at work, and he finds a way to pay that bill without touching his investment. He protects the seeds he's planted. This right here, this marks his entry into the second stage, the identity stage. This is the moment the money in that account stops being extra cash and becomes something sacred, untouchable. It's a fundamental flip from short-term panic to long-term protection. He is an investor now. It's part of who he is.
All right. So after surviving the boredom and that surprise car bill, Harry enters a totally new phase of the journey. This is the part where that abstract idea of compounding finally starts to show up in the real world. The math, it begins to awaken. Check this out. Let's look at the data at the end of year 2. He's put in about $1,100 of his own money, but the account is worth almost $1,230. That gap, that $129 in growth, I know, it's still small. But something has fundamentally changed.
See, that gap isn't just a few dollars of pocket change anymore. It's starting to feel real. This is the third stage, the separation stage. Your money starts to feel like this separate thing, like you've hired a tiny silent employee who shows up and does their job even when you're sick or tired or just don't feel like it.
Now let's fast forward to year 5. Harry's been consistently nudging up his contribution whenever he could. His balance is now almost $6,400. And get this, about $1,000 of that is pure growth. Now that $1,000 isn't going to let him retire, but it cost him 0 extra hours of work. It just appeared. All because he stayed in the game.
Now this is the moment we have been building towards. Sometime around year 8 or 9, something absolutely incredible happens. For the first time in a good year, the growth that his account generates on its own becomes bigger than the money he's actually putting in himself. This is it, the fourth and most powerful stage, the handoff. It's the moment compounding stops being a theory in a book and becomes a real, lived experience. His job totally changes here. It's no longer about pushing a tiny snowball uphill. His main job now is just to protect that snowball and get out of the way as it starts rolling on its own.
Okay, so we've just followed Harry's 10-year journey through all those quiet stages. What does this all mean for you? Right now, how can you take these lessons and actually apply them to your own life starting today?
Well, it really boils down to 4 key takeaways. First, build the identity. The first year isn't about making money. It's about teaching your brain that you are a person who invests for the future. Second, you have to accept the boredom. Those disappointing early numbers, that's just proof you're on the field. Third, protect the system. Guard that small automatic contribution like it's the most important bill you pay. And finally, you just have to wait for the handoff. Survive these quiet stages to earn your ticket to the really powerful ones.
Just remember his journey. At month 3, he felt foolish, but he stayed the course. By year 5, the gains were small, but they were real, and he could literally see the process waking up. And by year 10, the entire game had flipped. The money his past self had invested was now working harder than his present self was. I mean, that is the payoff.
Look, in the end, your financial journey is going to have its own unique twists and turns. It's not going to look exactly like Harry's, but the stages are almost always the same. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What is one small, almost laughable step, your own personal $37, that you can start and, more importantly, protect beginning today?